Hello and welcome back to Building Roots Abroad. I'm Giovanna, your host and a curious podcast lover who is always looking for new stories. This podcast is all about real people who've been brave enough to build careers, friendships, and entire lives far from home. In today's episode, we'll invite someone who speaks 4 languages on his daily basis. Nico from Italy has lived in many countries as Spain, Panama, and now Brazil, where he works as an engineer in a multinational company. Let's get to know him today. Hi guys, welcome back to Building Roots Abroad. Today we have here in our episode Nico. So before I start the questions, I'll just let him introduce himself. Welcome to our podcast. Thank
Pleasure
you
is mine. It's really I'm grateful to be a part of the project. I'm Nico. I'm from Italy. I'm 25 years old. I'm currently living here in São Paulo, a city I deeply love. I'm also a management engineer.
Yep.
And I was born in a little town in the sense of Italy. I mean, it's about 40,000 people living there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this kind of place where everyone knows everyone. And so for me, it was really clear from the very beginning that I needed to leave my hometown, you know.
What was the city that you come from?
And it's called Jesi.
Yes.
I think no one will know the city, which is a really beautiful city that I suggest, you know, for people traveling in Italy to you as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into the region, it's called Marche, and it's really authentic, you know.
Yeah.
It's not so known. That's why you can really have the Italian experience, I would say.
Okay. And then, so there's no university because the city is small.
Yeah, it's really small.
And then that's why you decided to move to another city?
To the north.
To the north, yeah.
North Italy.
What was the city again that you did your university?
It's called Reggio Emilia.
Yeah, when you're doing your course in Reggio Emilia, then you had your first international experience.
I had.
How was that?
It was really amazing. I applied to a program that is called Erasmus. It's let's say a scholarship that the European Union fund. You can study, you can work, you can do an internship. And so I applied for my last semester as a bachelor student.
Yeah. And where did you decide to go then?
I was really bad at language when I was a young boy.
No.
Yeah. Everyone was bullying me for my English. I still have a strong Italian accent, but also for my French. And so I was like, I was getting better and better in English. Of course, self-study. And I was like, I want to know another language.
Mm-hmm.
And so why not Spain?
Mm-hmm. Spanish.
And Spanish, yeah. That's why I applied to do the Erasmus in Spain. And I went in a city in the south. It's called Sevilla,
mm-hmm.
which is a really, really beautiful place.
So cool. And then how was for you to arrive there and deal with the language? Like, did you know a little bit of Spanish before coming there? Or?
No, I did. I never studied Spanish before going there. Mm. And so I remember I did a Duolingo account, mm-hmm. and I did the exercise consistently, for 6-8 months.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to speak when I arrived, but at least I had this basis that I could understand, have basic conversation. But of course, at the beginning, I don't know how it was for you, but it's kind of traumatic. Mm-hmm. I remember when I arrived in Spain, I didn't know anyone. Like no one from my university was going there.
Okay.
So for me it was like wow, it was like exciting and a little bit scary. And so there was these mixed feelings I had at first.
Yeah, of course. And how old were you when you moved there?
I think I was 21.
Yeah.
21, yeah. So
then how you got used to the city and everything? So you started the course, and then the course itself was in English?
Yeah, no, I had all the course in Spanish. But that was the challenge. I mean, that's how I learned Spanish, because I was obliged, to pass my exam, mm-hmm. Spanish speaker, at least in Andalusia, apart from young people, do not speak English.
Yeah. And then in Spain, you spent 6 months. You feel like when you left there, you were already speaking fluently Spanish?
I was speaking a good Spanish, not fluent.
Yeah.
And my English also got better and better.
Because of the international community.
With the international community, I was, traveling a lot with my friends, with my ex-girlfriend, and that's how. Yeah, I think that my English was better than my Spanish at the end of the Erasmus.
And then you came back to Italy. You then started your masters.
Yes. While I was in Sevilla, I applied for the master in Polytechnic of Milan because it was in English, all the management engineering master, and because it's really one of the best university in Europe and the best university in Italy. And so from Sevilla, I directly already moved to Milan. I came back, I don't know.
Oh, you didn't even go back home?
Yeah, like 1 month, less than 1 month. Because then I decided that's actually an interesting story. At the end of my Erasmus, I decided to come back to my hometown from Spain, just with a tent.
And a backpack?
A backpack. And some of the way back I did with my girlfriend, and we were hitchhiking. So I don't know, like from Barcelona till we crossed the Pyrenees, like hitchhiking sometimes, taking some bus, sleeping in the forest in the mountain. I think I spent 1 month in order to come back, and this was a unique experience. I would have never ever even imagined to do something like that. Sometimes you couldn't even decide where you go next, it was depending a little bit on the car that was stopping. Where are you going? In that city, and you're like looking at the map, less or more it's in the direction of South France, why not? And yes, just to give you, I think that the Erasmus experience really changed me. Before Erasmus, I was those kind of really strict students. I was really studying a lot, till late hour, I wanted my note to be the highest one.
Your grades?
And my grades. Mm-hmm. With Erasmus, literally changed my vision. I was taking an exam on Flixibus in the way to Porto in Portugal. We were sleeping in the beach. In Erasmus was like I can do everything I want. So I could travel and I could.
Now you felt the freedom.
Yes.
You could grow more with the experience,
exactly.
The life experience.
And manage a way, to be both good in grades, but at the same time enjoy and traveling.
Yeah, and then do you feel that that's how started your international experience, like how you started loving the fact that you can speak other languages and live in other countries and go a little bit out of the usual?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would say that, let's say that Sevilla pulled the trigger. Sevilla, that's something inside me deeply changed. When I started to study my master at Milan, which was my dream, my dream university, my dream city. I always dreamed I want to live in Milan. I want to study at Politecnico, finding a job there. And after 2 months, I was like, fuck it, I need to go.
You didn't like it?
I need to go. I don't know if it's this something common after an international
living
experience,
mm-hmm.
but I had the need of living again. So I remember that I was spending, the first 3 months. We have on the website of the university, you have a map where you can apply to the
Erasmus again,
to another Erasmus or a different kind of international program.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know. Imagine the world map, just clicking in.
Checking the options. Mm-hmm.
And
so then you started your masters. After 3 months, you're already checking where you could go.
And I applied right away after 3 months. Yeah, and I was all the time thinking, about constantly where I should go next, or which place I could explore. I deeply love my country, and I think actually I love more my country after all these international experiences.
Works like that.
But again, I don't know why I had this feeling. I needed to live again.
Mm-hmm.
The world was such a big place and so many adventures to be lived. And that's why, I applied like really random. I was like, I want to go in a random place.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, if I want to be really native in Spanish, I need to be in a place where I cannot speak English. America Latina. And so I apply, I think I put Panama first, and then Santiago de Chile, and then like random place. like Russia. It was before the war, just before the war. Third was Russia, then was Israel, then was Ethiopia. There was like
everything very random.
So like let's say that the main direction was Spanish.
The main direction was to improve your Spanish, and the other ones was just like, why not?
I mean, I wanted to feel those cultural trauma they call. So I wanted to be in contact with a culture far away from what I was used to be, because I knew that I could really grow. Being in contact, with people that have a completely different perspective, that do things that, you were not even considered, and make you understand it's how much life is beautiful and relative at the same time. That's why, and that's how I ended up in Panama.
Yeah. So then, your first option was actually the option you followed.
I mean, there is a ranking. Who wants to go in Panama? I think we were just two guys.
The competition was low.
Me and Augusto. It's a guy that I really love spending a semester in Panama. But only two guys. There is two positions and two guys apply.
Okay, so you got it.
I mean, there was no other option. When I first told my parents that I was going to Panama, my mom believed that it was like some South Asia country, that no one had really
knew what Panama was.
And everyone was asking me, why are you going in Panama,
Yeah.
And I didn't know as well, so I don't know. I don't know. It looks.
It's more like your gut, like you follow your gut to go there.
I mean, the university looked fine, and I wanted to learn Spanish, but I didn't have a logic reason to like. I know Panama. It's and when I first arrived, it was so strange. So I arrived 2 weeks before the starting of the course, and so. When I arrived, it was completely different. I mean, the weather was tropical weather.
Yeah, which
horrible,
you
like
were not used to.
100%
but
humidity.
Tropical, like very close to the equatorial line.
It is.
So it's even less, like very very humid.
It is. It's almost 100% humid every day.
Oh my god.
Almost 100% humid. Yeah, and it's you can not literally living far from air conditioning. So
because it's very warm.
It's really warm, and so I remember, and the city was so different of what I was used to.
Mm-hmm.
It was like all this forest and then all this building.
It was like half bush, half city.
Exactly.
Mm.
It was a concept completely new.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of happy because that was one of the reasons why I went. Because I wanted to explore, to feel something different. So
could you communicate with everyone when you arrived?
At the beginning, I struggled a lot. I was struggling.
Yeah. And what about the culture shock, like the fact that it's a third world country and...
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, it's something that we're not used in Europe until we live it. And that's also why my family and also my friends were questioning me a lot, because, Latin America is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And it is dangerous. I'm not going to lie. It's a beautiful life. I mean, I lived in Panama 2 years. I'm living in Brazil, so I loved Latin America. I really loved, but it's dangerous. A type of dangerous that in Europe we are not used. This equality.
The inequality.
The inequality. It's something new.
Mm-hmm.
New for me at least, and I guess I can generalize for the Western and especially European country.
Yeah.
And so it hits you really hard.
What was the first thing or the first experience that you were like, oh, I didn't know that would be like that? Like seeing like kids in the street or...
That's when because at the beginning, as a proper European that I was, of course I walk, around the city. Because in Europe you believe, you are in Vienna, and you go, you see all the stuff.
By walking.
But Panama is not a pedestrian city. So I remember the first day that there is literally no sidewalk.
Mm. It's just like driving.
But I didn't know. It's just, and streets are made just for car. So if you walk it, it's really, really dangerous.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that you can have within the same city really poor neighbor. side by side
with the rich one.
richest shit I ever seen, you know?
Like
where
São
you can
Paulo.
see the swimming pool on the rooftop, and you have let's say a favela,
favela.
a really poor neighborhood. So the first days that I was walking by, you know, I was walking also on the favelas, and it was kind of scary because you cannot just walk. You know, like people stopping you, like where, you know, and you see you're in contact with those kind of people, seeing children, I don't know, playing in the street football without shoes.
Yeah. So that was your first, like...
And that was like, you know, I mean, it's deep.
Yeah.
I mean, in Panama is not even the worst city. I've been in several, you know, in Quito, Ecuador, in Nicaragua.
So then you start traveling.
Colombia, yeah, and it's even worse, the situation. But probably the saddest thing is that you get used to it.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, I really felt bad, you know, and I was like, what can I do?
Yeah, it touched you in the first place and then gets just normal.
And that's really sad. In the beginning, you're like, let's try to, you know, the system is broke. There is a lot of things you can do. There are voluntary association and stuff. You can literally donate, make a difference. But you're so small and the system is so deeply broke that you are not actually changing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
yeah, because you're not the government. You're not anything that can actually change the inequality.
You don't have that kind of power.
No, so you just start just ignoring it. You cannot do much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably the saddest part for me living in Latin
in South America. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then in Panama you lived for 2 years. So one was for the end of your masters.
Okay. So, yeah.
No,
so at the beginning it was supposed to be just a 4 months experience. It turned to be 2-year life experience.
And how that happened?
Because
you liked a lot, or you just like your Spanish was improving a lot and you didn't want to come back?
I mean, I was like, after 4 months, I haven't lived enough. I haven't traveled enough, you know, and not just within Panama. I was like, I wanna stay for 3 more months here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin and my brother, they were coming for Christmas, so I kind of, you know, my first tropical Christmas.
No white Christmas.
Yeah, like let's say a white sand in a Caribbean paradise beach. Yeah, I was in the Caribbean Sea in the Christmas, and that was mind blowing. And so I was kind of I had this the energy, my family. They being with me, you know, and I was like, I'm gonna extend. I'm gonna stay there, starting my thesis online, extending
your experience.
So let's say that my international group of friends, they were from Colombia, Brazil, Nicaragua, Ecuador, and they kind of, with Panama, there was a program called ISEC, which is also another program that I strongly recommend if you want to do an internship abroad. Yeah,
I think it's very international, like you can find pretty much anywhere. Isaac.
And so they were with different background, you know, economics, marketing, engineers, applying there, and salary is good. I mean, you can earn up to $1,500, which for a first time experience.
And also, you're still studying, or?
Yeah. And plus in Panama, it's I never really understand it, but let's say that it's a fiscal paradise, so that
fiscal, like taxes.
So big companies that do not have to or pay less taxes compared to other countries.
Okay.
So they had the majority of the big multinational. They have their Latin America headquarters there in Panama. Nike, Adidas, the company I'm working for, Hilti, every sector, you know, they have let's say...
office in Panama.
You know, I wanted to somehow start, you know, working and have my salary and my financial independence. So I was like, why not? I mean, I still studying, but I can handle that.
Yeah, with work.
It was really tough. But I found a position as a project manager, which was the field that I was most passionate about during my study.
Nice.
At a European company, Hilti, which is a company I deeply love. You know, the culture, it's really international and really, really nice.
Nice. And then that's why you stayed 2 years in Panama.
And And imagine the coincidence. The company was in the same building of my university. So I remember that I was working, in the 25th floor. And I was going down for 3-4 hours, doing my classes, doing my lesson at the university, and coming back.
That's so nice.
So I was like, it's destiny. I'm meant to be here. What are the odds, to have something like that? And so for almost 1 year, I study and doing my thesis.
Wow.
With the professor in Italy.
In Milan. And then your graduation and everything was still with the Politecnico di Milano, no?
Yes. I had to go back.
So you had to go back. Yeah, that's
actually,
the point.
That's the first time that I came back from Panama to Italy after one year and 4 or 5 months. Was to defend my thesis.
So nice.
And then I came back. And the first things I did, I was almost crying when I had the first coffee in an Italian bar.
Because of the homesick.
Yeah. The
you felt
food
the
in Panama is not the best. I think Panama has many good things, but food is not on the list.
Things. Yeah.
And it was really something strange coming back in my country. First of all, the Italian, it may sound stupid, but for 1 year and a half, never spoke Italian again. I hadn't there was no Italian people in Panama. Yeah, but
and that's how you became a kind of native speaker.
Yeah, but that took a lot.
Took a lot of time.
It was traumatic. It was more traumatic when I started working than when I was at the university, because at the university it's not that kind of serious.
But at work was fully Spanish.
Almost only. And it was like that kind of Spanish. So, when you're a project manager, you're setting up the meeting, you need to kind of, guide the conversation, take decisions. Communication
is very important.
At the beginning, I felt so stupid. I mean, is it me? Because I couldn't, the pace, the complexity, the vocabulary, and speaking Spanish 10 hours per day was kind of killing me. And
it's very draining.
Yeah, and I knew that I couldn't really express all my skills or my ability, and it was so frustrating. And I was, recording all the meeting and watch over and over.
It's a good tool to watch again.
Yeah, and I recommend that, especially if it's the new language, because you can also re-watch yourself.
Yeah,
and so you know which kind of mistakes.
Talking.
And after work, I was studying Spanish because I needed to be at that level. I consider myself like more than fluent now in Spanish.
More than fluent.
More than fluent.
What would be more than fluent?
I don't know, like kind of native with some Italian weird accent from time to time.
Yeah. No, but it's true. Like when you actually need to work in another language, it's very draining, especially in office environment, because people assume that you have to be very professional, talk very good, and
It was the same for you when you first in Australia.
Yeah, actually, because in an office environment, you should be a bit more professional, and your vocabulary and everything requires you a better understanding of the language and accent than just working in, hospitality or any other job, or just studying. Because you actually don't need to, your communication is important, but it's not the main thing. Doesn't need to be super professional. So, and also when you finish a day, I think in any job in another language, it's so draining till you actually get to the point that you are fluent or native speaker, and then it's just natural and you don't feel like that anymore. But there's also like the aspect that you touch base on, which is you don't feel your whole personality is the best in your second or third language, and that you could do that way better in your native language. So there's also this point that you don't feel you're like 100% not good, but like you're not 100% communicating the right way, just because it's not in Portuguese in my case, in Italian in your case. So
I agree so much.
Yeah,
I mean, a working day speaking a language that is not your native, it's like twice the effort at least.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. And then how was so then you kind of started your career in that company, and you're still in this company, which is actually very exciting, because it's good to build this journey in the same place. But then how you decided to then move to São Paulo? with the company got transferred? How was the...
I mean, I was not as I was not planning Panama. I wasn't planning at all Brazil. So after 1 year and 3-4 months of working the company, the area that I work for, it's called aftermarket service. I don't want to deep dive into that, but the funny fact is that as an intern, I managed somehow to travel with let's say all the leadership team. So I did a professional trip in Chile with all the manager of Mexico, Brazil, as an intern. So it was kind of I don't know, not the usual thing, but I get along a lot with the controller and the other colleagues in the hub of Panama. Spend a week with them, and I was like really excited, and really curious how the process work.
How the company...
And also building connection with all these people. And I was kind of not tired of Panama, but I was almost starting, to seek other opportunity. And, I was living with the waves of people coming, staying there 1 years and then leaving, So I have, a lot of many people, deep relationship I created there, and they was just leaving because they were international student or intern for 1 year. I was like,
hard to build a community.
Yeah,
which is very important if you want to go for the long term.
Exactly, and Panama is like, it's a place people stay temporary, at least on my age, and that's why I had conversation with my colleagues. I expressed, I'm like, I don't know Panama. It looks nice,
but you were very sick of it.
And so after 2 weeks, I received an offer to work here in Brazil in São Paulo, and I thought, why not? Why not? And like the position was it's really interesting. I have much more responsibility. And
you didn't know anything about Brazil, about the language. You knew that was not Spanish, but
really never planned to live in Brazil.
Yeah.
And it's almost 1 year that I'm here, but nothing.
So it's been a
year.
Not
a word in Portuguese. And I remember when I received the offer, first things is I'm calling my dad, because my dad as well has been an engineer. It's not so far from what I'm doing right now, and so he knew exactly the kind of responsibility I have. I'm traveling a lot, I'm traveling to Chile, Mexico.
So in the new position, you have to travel a lot around South America,
which is something that I always loved and seeked. I did my onboarding in Europe, 1 week in Milan, 1 week in Austria, some days in Liechtenstein, where we have the global headquarters. And I need, as part of my position, let's say that I'm kind of responsible for the famous triangle: quality, cost, and time.
It was also kind of a promotion.
It was a promotion.
Yeah.
I was getting full employee benefit, and I was really happy. And also the challenge, of going in a new country, new language. Let's say it's challenge. It's beautiful, and at the same time, it's also really consuming, starting from zero again. But so I was calling my dad, explaining all the position, the stuff, and I still remember on the phone, it was like, okay, where is it, the position? And I was like, in Brazil. And 15 seconds of silence, it's like...
Because he was happy for the position and for your job, but he was not very happy for Brazil.
Yeah, again, why the fuck in Brazil, I mean, it's difficult to explain, but for them, for my parents, for my family, it's like living in a dangerous country. And it's really far from them. I think I'm very lucky. I have those kind of parents that they are happy. As much as I'm happy, and so they don't want to intervene too much of my life, that they do some of the recommendation. For example, do not go to Panama or Spain as well. Like my dad was so against, but it's kind of a suggestions, that don't, like, you're free. It's, it's your life.
But what they think is that you shouldn't be in Brazil. What they thought.
I guess so. I mean, they've been here these months, spending here in 3 weeks in Brazil. They loved the questions my mom was constantly asking, when are you coming back? When are you asking a transfer in Europe or something close? And so, yeah.
So then you got transferred to São Paulo in that position that was much more exciting. It was like a promotion and all of that. And how was for you the first impressions and everything in Brazil? Especially because you already had the South America experience, like the Latin America experience. But how was for you São Paulo?
So at the beginning, it's always horrible, and that was the first time I moved into a new place to work at a university.
So you didn't have the age group.
The network that the university can offer. And it's a huge difference. So for the first time of my life, I felt really lonely. The first months I lived in Alphaville, which is in the north of São Paulo, close to where I'm working, and there was literally no one.
It's just family.
It's just family. It's not for young people, and I didn't speak a word in Portuguese. And here how much is important,
Yeah, people don't actually speak any other language apart from Portuguese.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it was for me was really difficult for the first times, and I was like through I knew, because it was my fourth time that I was moving and starting from zero again, and so building from scratch your routine, your network, your friends, and I know that the first part is the toughest one, but I didn't expect that, and I was questioning a lot myself, because for me I had problem going doing grocery, I couldn't understand what the fuck the girl was saying to me. And
also probably you didn't know how to say some products.
Exactly, and it's my colleagues that nice people and stuff, but it's not kind of that they introduced me to the city and stuff, but it's not kind of having friends,
Yeah. So how did you overcome this? How did you start talking Portuguese, and what did you do to overcome this challenge?
That's the thing I always do, as for example of the Spanish, I'm trying of using this frustration, being able to basically express myself, to energy to learn. So spending a lot of time, podcast, music, Duolingo, class. And the problem was that I was speaking Spanish during my work, I would say 75% of my time.
Because you had to.
Because I had to. I had a lot of stakeholders in South America. That was not helping. There was kind of delay, my fluency in Portuguese, and that's why I need to use my free time, to focus, because through my experience, you would never really integrate yourself in the country, really feel this feeling of belonging if you don't speak the native language.
Yeah, you don't belong if you don't understand the communication and how things work here. Yeah.
What I wanted to do in Panama, what I wanted to do here, living in the country, being a part of it, feeling part of me, belonging here, you must speak the local language.
And how do you feel now? You feel you can communicate? And
I mean, it's hard handling for language, and the funny thing is that I use all my language apart from my native,
you use Portuguese,
work.
You use English.
I use Portuguese in my private life, Portuguese at work as well, Spanish a lot, and English as well.
But no Italian.
But I feel comfortable with my Portuguese. I know I can improve for sure, but I understand almost anything, and I can express myself.
Nice. And then how was for you the city and everything? Do you feel now you belong? How do you feel about it?
That was the beauty part. I felt immediately in love with Brazil. Coming in Brazil, and I was like, wow. People here are so kind. I love Brazilian people, and I think, I don't know if in the next country, in the next move, it will be really traumatic, because Brazilian people are those kind of people that they kind of
you feel
helping
like a family,
you. And if you don't speak properly the language, they're helping you. They're not judging you, and they are really cute. In and welcoming.
Yeah, they will make you feel you belong.
Yeah. So I immediately feel apart, you know. At the work, I was the gringo, you know, they're making fun in a cute way of my Portuguese, but every occasion they try to integrate you to make you feel good and a part of a community.
Yeah.
And so that was like, wow. And here, you know, nightlife, it's crazy, you know. São Paulo, it's, I mean, a city in which you can do anything, everything. It's restaurant, bar,
food is
museum, you know, events. Food is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
In São Paulo, it's really amazing. Brazilian food, first of all, it's good, but it's not just Brazilian food. It's this so much multi-ethnic, the city, that you can have really an amazing sushi,
an amazing
Korean
pizza.
food. I mean, an amazing Italian pizza you can find. But I'm not a huge fan of Brazilian one. But yes, so you have this multiculturalism and this, you know, this variety of food and really nice food, because Sao Paulo is the city with the, let's say, the largest Italian and Japanese community, and there are so much immigration here, and so you can see like different ethnicity.
Yeah, it's very multicultural. We do have the communities, like the big ones, like Arabic, Lebanese,
exactly,
and Japanese and Italian is the three that we can find the most. So the restaurants kind of follow that as well, I guess.
And so that was it. I mean, as soon as I learned a little bit of Portuguese, I struggled to find my community, my close friends.
Yeah, and how you started your community?
Random. I mean, it was completely randomly that I was visiting. So I decided to move from this north part of the city, close to the
residential area,
to a really famous neighborhood called Pinheiro, which is more for young hipster vibe.
No, but it's a hipster, like a fancy hipster.
Yeah, a fancy one.
Yeah, and that you can find like a very good way of life.
Let's say
welcoming suburb.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then visiting apartment, I met a Spanish guy. He really felt touched by my experience. Was like, man, what the fuck are you doing here in Brazil alone? You're even younger than me. You're working. And so he introduced me to all this group of friends. There was like Spanish, French, and that's
like an international
community.
Cohort.
And then from there, I made my step by step. I meeting this guy, and then this guy meeting another guy, and I built my network. I found a house with a really close friend of mine, a Peruvian girl, a Spanish guy, and then I moved, and now I live almost with a Brazilian and a French, Lucas, a French guy I really loved. And then it was like really fast, and
now you feel you belong more because you have this community. Like you feel your experience is like more real because
it's definitely more authentic, and it's really pleasant. I cannot really complain of my life here in Brazil. And so I'm really happy.
Yeah. And do you feel you're gonna still building your roots in Brazil for a while, or you have like any, like, how is your company? Do they have any plans for transferring and stuff?
I mean, that's $1 million question, What will
happen? But what you feel?
I don't know if as I said, before, I was much more an engineer, so I was planning my life, I was feeling a lot of anxious, what would be my next step, my next position, my next country. But as Panama and Brazil show me, you can also let a little bit, like, just
go
life
to the
flow,
floor,
and as much as you can plan, there can be always something, I don't know, a new position, meeting a person that it's gonna change a little bit your plans and highly impact your next decisions. So if you're telling me right now, of course I still have this feeling of exploring, the same Nico as 18 years old that wanted to go in the north, it's still inside of me,
like the sense challenge of exploring, you mean?
The challenge of being in a new culture, and building again from scratch.
So this still excites you.
But I mean, I cannot live my life, like this forever. Like still, moving city after city after 2 years. And sometimes the most challenging things is not starting from scratch, but
it's
starting
remaining.
really to build the scratch.
Yeah, build the life.
And that was always my point. And that's what I'm telling my friends from my hometown, I just want to have a choice. I want to see how it's living outside, and then I can always come back, always live in my hometown. But I can compare.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's my journey. And I've been experiencing, probably I would have another experience as well. But on the same time, I have this feeling that I also want to
remain a little in one place.
And is it a place? It is a person. It's a community. I think it's a deep question.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's also a very hard one. But then, just because you touch base on the challenges and everything, what would you say that were your biggest challenges, both professional and personally, by living in all those 3 countries?
I mean, for me, the most struggling thing is seeing my parents getting older and older. You know, by being far away. So by living abroad, I really understood the value of spending time with my parents and my family when I'm there. So it's something that before I was taking for granted. It's Sunday, I need to have lunch with my aunt, or I need to spending the afternoon helping my granddad. And nowadays I realize the importance of those moments. And so when I came back in Italy and I spent 1 week with my grandparents, I don't know, it's much more full of meaning.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I think the most effective way at the end of the day to make your family happy is for you to be happy.
Yeah.
But that's for sure, the most challenging part. Being far away from your family and not have, a perspective of coming back. When my granddad asking me, so when are you coming? When are you moving back again here? Like, I don't know.
And then for people who wants to do a similar journey to the one you did, like working abroad and also studying abroad in a more professional way, do you have any specific advice that you think will help people listening?
I mean, if it's working abroad, is doing an experience abroad is what you really want, you can overcome all the obstacles, and it feels so difficult, and I was also surprised how much opportunity this world have, how much job position, how much multinational company that value those kind of background, those kind of profile that wants to work abroad, because diversity is key, for a lot of process and creativity within the company. And so the world is waiting. There are opportunities, and it's up to you. It's up to you. And as many say, worst case scenario, you can come back at home and just have a nice experience. You just experience a different way of living. It is for you, it is not for you. And there is no good or bad. Each one has their way of living and their way of seeing, the world. And the happiness is a complex path. So there is no, you need to be abroad to experience, or you need to stay in the hometown. At the end, you need to do what you really think that it's gonna touch you. And if it's going abroad, there is plenty of opportunity. Yeah.
Cool. And then I think just to kind of wrap up the episode, what Building Roots Abroad means to you, the name of the podcast.
It's almost like my life, because I've built my roots abroad in different places. I went to Spain when I was 21, went in Panama when I was 22, I'm almost 26. I left my hometown when I was 18,
Yeah.
between 18, 19. So it's kind of my life. And so when I first heard about the project, I felt so identified. I mean, wow, this is, and it's just a passion for me. It's really, even having this kind of conversation and talk.
Yeah. Amazing. Nice. So yeah, I think it was an episode that we could get a lot of insights. It's just, someone that lived across a lot of different places and built a career on those places, and also living in 4 languages is something very exciting. And I think that's, as you said, like a match with the whole podcast. So I think we could get a lot of insights. And yeah, I think for anyone listening, if you want to reach him on LinkedIn, I'm pretty sure he'll be happy to give any extra advice. Do you have anything else to add before we close the episode?
Nothing more. Just glad to be here, and for sure, feel free to ask me. I think I really had a wide talk.
Yeah.
But for sure.
Yeah, nice. Thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you guys soon next time.
And thank you for the invitation. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.